Luke Y, the Toy Fan Guy. It's Luke Y, the Toy Fan Guy here. And, hey folks, looks like Todd McFarlane came through with his Kickstarter figure for Christmas, breaking a world record. Let's open this baby up. But first, everybody look at my cat. Okay, folks, let's see what the Todd father has in store for us. Got my scissors, taking the address labels off so none of y'all can find me.
Do not find us.
Do not find me. I will be a huge letdown if you do. Scissors, scissors, scissors. Always good to have scissors. Now, they only sent me one of the two figures. I ordered two. But one of them is a silver one, and it was a running change, so that's going to come last, apparently. The blue one is going to come first. I went with classic blue because the original figure was blue. And there are enough custom pieces on this that you can basically make two different figures, just about. So, oh, there's a look at the box.
Ooh.
Let's get out of here. So, okay, less fancy box than before. It used to have the big coasters on the corner, but okay, we'll get this out of the plastic so we can see it. As Todd would say, plastic. Get out of the plastic there. A lot of plastic. Medieval Spawn. It's all shiny here.
Shiny, shiny, shiny.
Shiny helmet, shiny Spawn logo. Shiny lettering.
Woo!
And then we slip this off here. Looks like slip cover.
More shiny.
More shiny.
I like shiny.
There we go. And open it up.
Ooh.
There we got Todd's little certificate of authenticity. I don't know if he actually autographed this. I didn't pay for an autograph, so I think it's just a copy. And then if we take this off, it's holstering the extra stuff, extra accessories there. Boom. Okay. And
Cat's like, what is it?
we pull this out, and there we have our Medieval Spawn.
Do 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 Spawn. Okay, folks, let's take a look at the figure here. Comes in a clamshell. There's nothing on the back, so that makes displaying easier. It like Todd McFarlane in his videos, I'm doing this one-handed, folks. So it pops open real easy, just like that. Nothing to seal it. And got the comic book in here. It looks like comic book is in here tight with a backboard. Oh, the comic book is sealed. Is it? No. Okay. It's sealed around the edges, but you can slip it out there. Just slip it out, and there you go. So, Spawn logo on the back, nice and shiny. Cool artwork. McFarlane drawing his own, redrawing his own figure. So, let's see. This is a lot of different. This is more like a sketchbook than a comic. This is artwork, I think, from the original Spawn comic. There, but a lot of these are just, you know, they're pin-ups. Here's a look at the various figures and everything that comes with them. Okay, this is, you know, a close-up of the figure. That's the regular Medieval Spawn that you can buy in stores at the moment compared to the Kickstarter one. As you could see, the Kickstarter one is a much more detailed sculpt. We actually broke the first images online at Superhero Hype when I was there. Here is some of the design of the figure. I think this may be the design of the original, because it has the spinning shield. That was the gimmick. You could spin the blades around the shield. And you can't really do that on this one. Okay. So the original Kickstarter Spawn had some twisty ties, if I remember right. This one doesn't. It did have a little bit of tape between the two clamshells. You can peel it off, and you see a little bit of the residue there. But if you wanted to resell it, I'm sure you could just put another piece of clear tape there, and nobody would be any the wiser. But the figure comes right out. There's a little piece of plastic in there to prevent paint rub off on the stand, and piece of form-fitting plastic there to prevent paint rub off between the cape and the figure. Let's get a good look at this guy. Look at the detail on this. Holy hell, that's a level you're not going to get for a mass-produced retail figure, hence the need for a Kickstarter on this. Check out the detail on the sword. Let's get him out and play around with him a little bit. Okay, so we got pretty standard McFarlane articulation on this. We got the double elbows and knees. He's very back heavy because of that cape, so you notice how far forward I'm bending him in order to have him stand on his own, of his own volition. This is the sort of thing where you might want to buy a dynamic stand that grips him around the waist. But the magnets holding in the forearm shields here are... it's pretty loose. They come off real easy. So you'll think you broke it the first time, but you didn't. There's the magnetic chest piece, but it has the sheath strap for his sword holster here. It's kind of in the way. That's going to be a little more challenging to change out, I think, than people think. And it has the sort of the wonky McFarlane hip joints that all McFarlane figures have. Well, not all. Some of them have ball joints, but then you've got the mid-foot toe one there. You got the double ball joint. McFarlane still doesn't do pinless, even on the Kickstarters. The shoulder pads are attached by ball joints. They feel a little flimsy, but they seem to hold on pretty well. And then, you've got the double joints on the arms there. Basically, good posability on the head. There's a waist and mid-torso. It's basically, like I said, typical McFarlane, what you'd expect. What amps this up is the detail. Check out the texture on the cape there. Really, I think the reason you're buying this is because it gives you more detail than the mass-produced ones could. Okay, cool detail here. The stand actually has 2 foot pegs on it, and it's bigger than the typical McFarlane stand, so it actually allows him to stand upright. The shield doesn't just have the 2 straps here, but you can pop them off, and they've got a magnet inside, so you can just kind of switch out the magnet. And Todd, I realize now why you did all the one hand, why your videos are so awkward with one hand. But anyway, that just sticks on the magnet pretty easily. Then I guess you pop these little suckers back in. I'm not going to do it, but you can. It's not hard. And so that puts the shield on his forearm like a magnet. It's got, a lot of interior detail on that shield, which is very nice indeed. And it's not like a lot of figures, Mondo, where you have to pop off the hand in order to get the shield on, or, even some Marvel Legends do that. Nope, you can just pop open the straps and magnetize. Alright, let's take a look at the extra heads. Here we have one with a visor. Nice. Here we have the USC Trojan, aka Roman Centurion head. Okay. This is the hamburger head screaming. Yeah, it's always nice. And then we have the softer version of the Medieval Spawn helmet, and that goes over the regular unmasked Spawn head here. So you put it like that, and that way you have removable helmet Spawn. Okay, so in order to switch out the breastplate, you got to move up the little strap here and pull off the chains with skulls here. There is, you know, this version, as you can see, and then there is also a version with Spawn logos instead of skulls. So you have to get that up in order to pull the breastplate off. And then, look, he's got, if you don't put a breastplate on him, he's got mirror nipples, or, you know, magnet nipples. And then these are the other two breastplates you can put on him. Right there. Compare them to the one that was on them, which is there. So the one that's the default that it comes with is more the most detailed. This is more of a Spawn logo, and this is more of the Malabulja M. Let's try it. Let's see how it looks. Well, there we go. There's one. That I think might look better on the silver one. It doesn't quite really match the color scheme of this Medieval Spawn. So, whoops, he fell over. We are winging this, folks. I did not rehearse, just like Todd never does. And then there's this one, which that works too. That works, you know, nicely. That fits the color scheme. Gives you a big, scary skull. It almost feels like it's competing with his belt buckle and his head. So I think I actually like the default one the best of all of these. So I'll put that one back on. There. There. Anyway, as you can see, they clip on pretty easily. And then I just have to snap these little guys back in there. I think I like the skulls better than the Spawn logos. So a lot of what you have the choice between here is more elaborate or more classic. So he comes with, you know, these fancy ornate bracers and hands, but you can also give him the classic Spawn bracers and hands. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, I was wrong about the hands. All the hands are classic. They're just slightly different gestures or holders, but let's put the classic Spawn bracers on so that you can see. There, that's a more, why am I doing that? It's a more Spawny Spawn. Again, that might be something you want to do with the monochrome one, the silver one, which is coming later because it is less of a clashy color scheme. Another thing I noticed here while I was doing this is these ball joints on the shoulders, they're sort of attached to bands that are kind of like loose butterfly joints almost. And this one is super loose. This one is not, it's tight. There's a bit of motion there, but I'm not exactly sure if they're supposed to rest in the cavities like butterfly joints. That seems to make it a little better, yeah. But they can also kind of come down like wristbands, and that gives them a bit more leeway depending on how you want to pose them. This is the other shield. It kind of matches the breastplate that had the bigger shield, bigger skull on it. And this one, it limits your posability a little bit because it's so big, and it has to, you know, match the magnet that's on his forearm. But it's got the nice, you know, the other one has wood deco on both sides. This has wood deco on the inside and metallic deco on the outside. It's a much more detailed shield. But like I say, there are less options because you have to get the magnet to match where it is in the shield. Unless you can also use the straps. I mean, you don't have to match the magnets. The magnets just make it a heck of a lot easier. And then these are just the other weapons. I assume, like me, you'll want to put the sword into the sheath on the back because it's made for it. And give him, you know, one of the shields, probably. And then one of these weapons. And you have a variety. You know, you've got the ball and chain here. Has an actual chain. This thing, it's a cool detail, but I feel like it's kind of dorky as your main weapon. That's a nice sword. Looks brutal as hell both ways. And then you got the axes, which have really long handles. I think you'd kind of want to give him a double grip on those. He comes with hands that grip weapons, but also these kind of spell casting hands. If you have necroplasm parts from other Spawn figures, you can, make him cast energy with these hands. They're not designed for, they're designed for, dramatic gesturing rather than holding, but then you have the holding hands there, and they will, it doesn't need like a Mezco figure to have 12 different hands because each hand is specifically styled to each weapon, which frankly is good. I think you can have some basic holding hands and make all the weapons work with it. It's nice to do that. This is a cool figure. Was it worth the $80-some I paid for it? It's still less than a Mezco 112. It's obviously a lot more than a typical McFarlane at $25 to $30. The detail is much more. The magnets are a really nice feature. And the packaging is almost completely reusable, like I say, except for 2 tiny pieces of tape. Comes with the comic. The comic's just a bunch of sketches, nothing you can't find elsewhere. It's really just part of the nice packaging. Got this chrome here. I don't, on toy reviews, say you should buy this or you should not buy this. You've seen in my hands what this is. You've got a good look up close at the detail. So it's your call, but I will say I do not feel ripped off, and I look forward to getting the silver one so I can, have 2 on the shelf with different looks. One will, silver one will probably have the more basic M armor and maybe the bigger shield and the Roman helmet. We'll go wild. This basic head has got to go because, if you got a removable helmet one or you got a screaming head, they're a lot cooler than this. So let me just, I'll just quickly show you what that looks like before we go. That is a much better head fit than on the Spawn, where you kind of took the whole chunk out. This is just the head. The hands swapped out nicely, and the head swapped out pretty easily too, he says, as it pops off again. But okay, that's what it looks like with hamburger head. It's kind of a small head, but relative to the helmet, that's okay. Here you see him with the opening visor helmet, which is a bit like the final Medieval Spawn that the original Spawn line did, who was kind of a statue, but he had, a mask like that. You put it down. Again, the color scheme isn't a perfect match. It might do better on the silver one. And this is the soft head removable helmet one. Again, the color scheme is more silvery than blue. Might do better on the silver one, but there you go. If you just want the unmasked rotting zombie hamburger head Spawn, you got him. And that's how he looks. There. Oopsie, looked like this part wasn't meant to come out separately. Oh well. Resale value destroyed, I guess. So be careful of that when you're pulling this guy out. All one piece, not separate pieces. They're separate pieces now on mine, but they're not meant to be.